up, springtime has come. I'm wide awake now.
Oh, well, wasn't that just amazing? What- Hold on, I'm going to change mine to spotlight. Yeah, because I don't want everybody to see everybody. So, hi, everybody, and welcome to CSL Leesburg. If you were waiting for us to go live, I do apologize. We did have a bit of a technical glitch there, but we were just going through our meditation. So I invite you, if you haven't yet, to just sit real still and just hold the vision that you are love, that the universe has created you in the very presence, with the very material of love, because there is nothing else, nothing besides that. It is light. And so as we, step through the little landmines that are always on the way, they're always on the journey. When we have a journey and we are on this journey together, you and me, when we trip over certain parts, that is part of it. We have a destination, no doubt. We're going to talk about that. But guess what? The destination is not the goal. The goal is the actual journey. That journey that we're on is part of it. That is actually the experience that we seek. So this song that we just played from Leah talked about springtime is coming, and springtime will come. And this is the time of year that we are preparing for what we call Easter Sunday. That's coming next week. And we have a lot of tradition around springtime. So what is springtime? Springtime is, if you think about it metaphysically, it is about transformation. That what was hidden or what was frozen over, if you live on the East Coast, is now breathing new life. It is now bursting with new life. You see it all around you. You see the flowers, the lilies are the first to show, or the daffodils, and they come up. You see little shoots coming out of the ground. And the idea that renewal is always at hand is usually the structure or usually the teaching of different faith traditions. Because there's always a process of birth and life, and then the death of something, and then the renewal and a rebirth. In fact, the whole Easter season, no mistake, that Good Friday, right? That's when Jesus walked with the donkey, on the donkey through the town, and they had the palm leaves. And then, he was crucified. And then, so the idea though, crucifixion, death, resurrection, that is springtime. That is renewal. In fact, it's all about releasing and embracing. So, as a review of this month, we've been talking about transformation. How does transformation happen? Now, on your spiritual journey, I don't know where you are on this path, but the first Sunday I spoke to you about 4 stages of spiritual journey. And the first stage is when you're thinking and you're looking at the world as if everything is happening to you. Everything is happening to you. So when things happen, you're like, oh no, why me? And you tend, and now these are some signposts when you know that you're in the to me, everything's happening to me. If your prayer sounds like this, then you are in the to me phase. Dear God, please, please, I'll do anything. If you just XYZ. Okay, that's how you know you're in the to me, because the pleading and the idea that you're separate is usually the indicator. The idea that you are not one with the divine, you never were, that you're the child of some sort of original sin, which It's kind of a misnomer. It's kind of a mistake that that's the thing. You're not a child of original sin. That's not, you are a child of the divine. God moves through you as you. But when you're thinking everything's happening to me, I'm a victim, what you'll tend to do is you will pray in a beseeching manner, begging that God show up and save you in a particular situation, and then pretty much forget about God to go about your life and do what you want. In your mind, there's a fear that if you don't do things just right, you're going to get in trouble. You might have some rituals that are more of a, they might seem a little superstitious to you if you look back from another stage where you feel like, oh, if I don't do these things just so, oh, it's not gonna work out. Or here's one really great one, and then we'll move on. Well, I think I'm running out of good luck, so I better stop trying things. I better stop getting out there. I mean, things are going pretty good. I better not tempt fate because good things happen and then bad things happen. So it's coming. I'm waiting for the other shoe to fall. That is how you know you're living in the to me. So when we start this teaching and we start taking some of the classes and we learn that there are some spiritual tools that we can use because the universe has imbued us with all the things that Jesus promised. He said, these miracles that I do, you can do them and more. So that which is in him is also within us. Heaven is within us. Heaven is at hand. All of these things we have within us, but people weren't giving us the tools. So we started seeking and we're finding new other traditions that might be a little closer to what we believe. Maybe we stopped believing that there was some devil plotting our demise, that maybe that's not the case. So we start to discover, oh, so it's by me. Things aren't happening to me, things are happening by me. And then you start to realize, oh, could it be my thinking that keeps getting me into trouble? Hmm. So they're teaching me in this class to do affirmations. Oh, come on. Could they really work? I'll just do the homework. And lo and behold, it's working. Lo and behold, things are changing because I started changing my thinking. And now I'm changing my life because it's happening by me. And so we stay in this for a while and we start getting really good at it. What are the signposts that you're on it by me? Well, usually your life starts to look a little better. You're making decisions out of a sense of intuition that you've gotten because you've been doing your meditation. You've been doing your affirmative prayer, which instead of beseeching God, you pray as Jesus taught you. Pray believing that it's already yours, and then it is so. Pray with thanksgiving that you already have it, and then it is so. So you start doing that, and then you realize, oh, and then you start thinking about what you want instead about what you don't want. And it starts to happen. And your life starts to become more and more like what you want it to be. That's how you know you're in the by me stage. And a lot of people hang out there. They hang out there and they're just fine. However, there might be the next stage that I'm inviting you through these talks to really consider that there may be a divine vision for us that we don't see in our everyday visualizations, that my visualizations are limited to all the things that I see already. I see an example of something, so, oh, I want that. Or I see someone else being something, oh, I want to be like that. But visioning is where you say, hold on, let me just sit down for a second and let me get quiet. And then let me get into that love space and let me ask what the divine sees for me. And that's when you start getting into the through me, when you set aside some space to sit down, get quiet, and ask questions. So you start asking these questions. Okay, God, what is your highest vision for my life? What do you see as my divine vision for my life? And then sometimes when you're in this stage and you're asking these questions, you might expect to see the equivalent of an IMAX movie. Here's what I want with a burning bush and everything. You might not see that. You might never. You might be the kind of visioning person who gets a feeling tone in their body. You may never see anything with your inner eye. So sometimes you listen, you might hear it with your inner ear. It might sound like, do this thing in your ear. You'll have to know, you have to get in there and just kind of ask the question and wait for the things to happen. You're listening. And the inner listening is kind of like someone's about to tell you a secret or someone's whispering and you really want to hear it. They get real quiet and then you allow. So then the questions come, right? There are 5 questions to visioning. And the questions are, what is God's highest vision, highest idea of my life? And the second question, so what do I have to release in order to let this go? Now, here's the struggle, right? You just came from a by me paradigm where everything happened by you. And so if you spend too long, I don't want to say too long, but if you're really good at this, like me, to go to the next stage, guess what you have to give up? Control, control, my friend. So you're in the by me, you're sitting down, you're doing the things, you're asking the questions, and the question is, what do I need to release? And that thing that you need to release, that spirit's telling you to let go of, you might be like, but wait, I need that thing. So the asking of what it is you need to release it could be, difficult, but think about this. All spiritual growth, 100% of it is about releasing or eliminating rather than attaining something because we're already it spiritually. So we're looking to unpeel the layers off. What layers do I have that I need to release? And so then the next question, what do I need to embrace? What things do I need to embrace? Because when you release, Christina talked about that last week, when you release, you make space. So what is it that you need to embrace? These answers will come. And then another question, one of the last two is, so what gifts and talents do I already have that will serve me in this vision? Because chances are, I mean, I've done a few of these by now, and I've never been given a vision that I didn't already have a talent to fulfill. I've never been given a vision that I didn't already have a gift that went perfectly well with it. Because if you think about it, the oak tree is in the acorn, right? The acorn is not expected to do rose bush activities. It's not requested, it's not baked in. So whenever I'm asking for a vision from the divine for what I should, what's the divine idea of me, it's not going to say, go do something you're not great at. It's not going to say, go be a rose bush if I'm an acorn. So that we can allow, we can go ahead and let go. The releasing feels great. And I have to give you a quick example of this. I was in one of my meetings. Keep my eye on the time. Okay, yeah. I was in a meeting, and of course, you guys, there's the professional Charlene, and then there's spiritual Charlene, and I'm trying to get them to merge even better because why would I fragment myself? That's more work for me. So trying to get them to work together, and I had done some visioning, and I asked, what's God's divine idea as me? And I got just, just don't be so much in control in both realms, in both spaces, ministerial and at work. And so I'm sitting in a meeting, and this was just last Thursday. And the software that I wrote, my son and I, did some things, added some features, and our business analyst was about to present it. And usually you don't let the software developer present the software because it's kind of weird, right? So she's supposed to present it, and her computer was acting crazy. It was doing all this, statics. It was like this morning, sometimes the gremlins get in the machine and it doesn't want you to be happy. So she's trying to get on and the static, she can't talk. She's trying to show her screen, it won't work. And she dials in on the phone, it still won't work. And I'm sitting there on my hands because the old me, or the me that didn't ask about my vision, or God's vision as me, the me, that me would have been like, would you like me to do it? I'll just do it. Let me just do it. And I didn't. I just, and I waited. And it was a good 10 minutes before we got it together. And I waited as if I wasn't there. And guess what? Things didn't fall apart. I didn't have to run in and save the day, and things were fine. She figured it out, worked it out. She did a great job. And I was like, really? So for me, releasing is literally releasing, like letting go of the things, not having to do all of the things, and allowing other people to step into their greatness. I don't have to barge in and be the great one all the time. That's not even my place to do. And how wonderful it is that other team members are great at what they do. And they, it's just allowing things to be the way they are. It was huge for me. So I really like that. In that meeting, I probably said 3 words and everything was fine. So it's always a peeling of the onion for me. I love learning more and more about me, just and watching how spirit says to me, I told you that. I've been telling you that. You're fine. You know you're fine. You don't have to hold so tightly. Because when I'm holding tightly to one thing, I am not allowing space for the greater yet to be. And if most of spiritual weight, 100% of spiritual transformation is about releasing and eliminating, then yeah, that I'm right on the right track. So many of us will go back and forth between by me and through me, by me and through me. Like as soon as you let go of the control of the by me, then you allow it to be through you, and then letting spirit. So I'm thinking, yeah, spirit was probably doing other stuff through me when I let go of all of the by me stuff. But the last one, the last stage is as me. And so when you go through the steps, you had your questions. What is God's vision for me in my life? What do I need to let go of? What do I need to embrace? What talents do I already have? Well, then the last question really is there anything else? Is there anything else? Because as we're honing our vision, the vision of the divine as me, there's stuff I don't even know that I don't know. There's unknown unknowns that then I can just ask the catch-all, is there anything else? And that always works. The is there anything else will help tease out any little tidbits. And it's not over. Once you close your book, you took some notes, you close your book, you may be asking, well, wait, how does the as me fit in? So the as me is that mystical level of oneness that we get to when we don't even realize we're being it. We're just a spiritual adept. We're good at it. We're just being it, as opposed to holding a torch in the darkness. We are the torch. We show up and it's brighter. That's the sort of analogy for as me. And so what I want you to think about now is that if releasing is the biggest part, if 100% of our spiritual growth is releasing, then it does require us to be willing to transform. We need to be willing to transform. And so that means we have to surrender. I know that word, that word surrender. But imagine if a caterpillar didn't want to let go of caterpillarality. Okay, caterpillarness. It didn't want to let go. It's holding on tight, clenching. How likely is it that that caterpillar will be successful? It's going to become a butterfly. That's how it works. So at some point, I imagine that the mental anguish that the caterpillar was applying to this metamorphosis process had to have just been surrendered. It just, fine, do your thing. And then nature does its thing, if you've ever seen this happen. And then out comes a whole different looking being. And the thoughts that used to be the thoughts of the caterpillarness aren't present, I imagine, in the butterfly. And why do I say that? Well, because do I have to? I probably don't have to spell it out, but imagine the caterpillar is crawling along a tree branch and can see about this much. So his concerns are about this much. And that's fine in that stage. But when we surrender to that next stage and we ask, what is God's highest idea of me? And we catch a glimpse of soaring through the branches and looking down, that had to freak that caterpillar out if that's how that works. So, yeah, the thoughts of the caterpillar are not at the level of the thoughts of the butterfly. So we're going to imagine ourselves as simple, depending on where we are in our journey, as a level of us is still that caterpillar. And what parts of us really need to surrender and let go to the divine idea of us that's already baked in, that we don't have to cajole or sort of beg to receive. It's already there. Our job surrendering into that vision, and then catch what happens when we catch the vision after having sat down and listened and gotten some ideas and took some notes and watch your dreams. You're going to see different things. And whatever other divination tools you use, look at those things. Is it the Bible? Is it verses from other traditions, which we're going to go over in a minute? Is it whatever you use? You might do the I Ching or the runes, tea leaves. It's all in support of your highest yet to be. Our dreams bring us metaphors and bring us archetypes that we're to work for. And that's just one of the ways of doing it. But it's all one, it's all working together for our highest good because it's already baked in. So let's check out some of the other traditions before we close. Yeah, change that. So fun. Isn't it fun? Technology is super duper fun. Yeah. So from the Bible, here's a quote. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your minds, so that you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. And from Taoism, at the center of your being, you have the answer. You know who you are, and you know what you want. At the center of your being. And that's a high faith. Do not look, do you not look upon the beginning of the affairs? Attach your hearts to the ends and the result. So, Confucianism, when it is obvious that the goals cannot be reached, don't adjust the goals, adjust the action steps. I like that. If you come up with something, I don't know how I'm going to get there. Well, sounds like another visioning session. Ask the questions. It's already within us to know how this works. So, and this is the quote that I read, and then I'll come back out of share mode, from Michael Bernard Beckwith, who is the one who coined the term visioning. All spiritual growth, 100% of it is about releasing or eliminating rather than attaining something, because we're already it spiritually. So as you know, every Wednesday night we do have prayer circle. And so what we've decided as a community is for the first half hour, we will speak the prayers into the law, the affirmative prayer treatment. But for that second half hour, from 7:30 to 8, we're going to do visioning together. We're going to carefully go through those steps. We go through those questions because I know I read them off and you may have taken some notes, but we don't have time in one of these Sunday services to go deep into visioning, but let's do it together as a community. Let's get together every Wednesday at 7:30 and go into that space and ask Spirit, what is God's highest vision of me? We could do it as a group. What is God's highest vision as our group? And we could do it for any area of our lives. So with that, I would like you to go within and just a quick prayer of sort of affirmation of what we've brought to you today. So going within, starting with the affirmation, I relax and behold God's grace unfolding as my life. I relax and behold God's grace unfolding as my life. I know that we are one with the divine, that there is no separation, there's no otherness, only God. God, Goddess, the power, the universal life that is living, moving, having its beingness through each and every one of us. That this is a universe of order, and that what may look like disorder or chaos is just that caterpillar becoming a butterfly. And so, knowing that we are immersed in the divine, knowing that within each and every one of us, there is the divine pattern of perfection, I speak my word that I know that all we have to do is release any preconceived ideas, any judgments, any conditions that we would place upon our own spiritual unfoldment, that we would release those. And that we would allow God's idea of our lives to live and move and come in through us as us, knowing that this very impulse within our being is that impulse that is good and only good. And it only unfolds to higher and higher goodness. Because the universe cannot be against itself, it would implode in that case. It's always for itself, it is always evolving. And as evolution is the process of releasing what is no longer required and stepping into our greater yet to be, there is no end to it. Even as we imagine that souls are born and souls die, we know the truth that we are never born and we do not ever die. That our spirit lives and moves through this plane, and when it's done on this plane, it moves to the next. Always unfolding and always evolving back into its highest, most divine purpose. And that just is amazing and is powerful. We are never finished. No matter where we are spiritually, we are on our way to that is even greater. There's always a greater yet to be, always unfolding. So I speak my word for this planet that everywhere God is, whether it's in Myanmar, that God is right there, that what looks like chaos is actually unfolding to a greater yet to be. We can't see it right now. I speak my word that it is there and it is happening. That it is happening. Whatever's happening at our borders may look like chaos right now, but I speak my word that what is unfolding is order for a higher divine state of being. And across this planet, when it comes to any sort of dis-ease, I speak my word that we are unfolding to a greater yet to be. And that as we release ideas that are no longer true for us, that negative experiences will cease to happen. And that this is happening right here and right now, because that is our purpose of evolution, the evolution of this planet and all beings. Is with this understanding, is with this awareness that I'll relax in gratitude, as Jesus said, pray, knowing that it is already so. Give thanks for it as if it has already happened. And so I simply relax in gratitude, knowing that as I have spoken, it is already so. So I release. I happily release my word into the law, like seeds being flung across fertile ground, knowing that it is already happening, it is already taking place. I simply let it go, I let it be, and so it is, and so I am. Amen. And I will present to you now our song. So on. Good.
Where I am, God is. Where I stand, God is standing strong. Where I breathe, God is breathing life in and out and through me. Ask me where I sing, God is. Where I dance, joy lives at my feet. Where I live, beauty's flowing free, in and out and through me. As me, for where I doubt, God is the faith in me. Where I cry, God is the comfort there. Where I seek, God is the answer. Here and now, forever and ever and ever. Where I speak, truth is. Where I work, love is my career. And where I play, God is playing boldly, in and out and through me. As me. Oh, oh, do-do-do. Oh, oh, hey, yeah. Where I am, where I stand, where I play, where I work and breathe and move and feel, where I sing, where I dance, my dance, wherever I go, where I pray and take and give and leave. God is, life is, joy is, oh, God is.
Faith Rivera. Wherever I am, God is.
What a wonderful, wonderful talk today. What fabulous music. We'll talk some more later about that. But we now turn to blessing the donations that are shared today. At CSL Leesburg, we believe in the law of circulation. The donations that are shared with our center blesses everyone, those who give and those who receive. We are a tithing community, so your donation helps our center, our CSL home organization, as well as organizations that inspire us and help to further our vision for creating a world that works for everyone. Please look at our screen. There are so many ways to give. It's easy to find a way that works best for you. You may also go to our website, cslleesburg.org, and click on the donate button. We thank you so much for your support. No matter how you are giving, please take that gift physically or just mentally and place it over your heart and join us in our affirmation of oneness. The presence of spirit within me blesses everyone I meet, tends to heal everything I touch, brings gladness into the life of everyone I contact. Therefore, I am a blessing to myself, to humankind, and to the day in which I live. And now we go to some announcements. Please join us on Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. for dream study. And you'll get to explore dreams and interpret them, talk about their meanings and how we can use them as we create our visioning for our lives. And on Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock, you heard Charlene talk about the first half hour. We're going to do a prayer circle. So bring your joys and concerns to us and we'll pray with you. And then for the second half hour, we'll do a visioning exercise with you. Charlene just gave us a little teaser about that process, and we'll guide you through the visioning process so that you can help determine how you will have transformation in your life. These offerings are just a few of the ways that we take what we give and receive locally for our members and guests. So consider joining us on these two events this week. Please feel free to join us after our service also as we share our pearls, those little nuggets. Boy, I have a long list of things that struck you during the service today that spoke to your heart and to your minds. And if you're a visitor with us today, please stay and introduce yourself. We'd love the opportunity to officially greet you and welcome you to CSL Leesburg. As we end our sacred time together, let us say, as we place our hands over our hearts once again, I am love. Really feel that, let that sink in. Now point to someone near you or to your screen and say, you are love. And now put your hands up in the air for what we call love sprinkles and say, it's all love. It's all love. It's all blessed. It's all God. Thank you so much for joining us here today. If you can, hang around with us, join our chat, and maybe grab a